Directing signals in high setting, high interference at a direct location is training to applied to the position locations of operation. It's all circles and high interference. To understand the recognition timeline in your line setting interference locations as well in your high setting. To understand you have a physical line setting. Now the physical line center has their adaptation locations. It's a 9-generation light stream. Okay, a 9-generation light stream is generations of generations, locations, right? So we're surfacing line rotation into 7 line settings, which is in the cosmic universe location. 6 is position location in moon, and 9 is your line setting. It's all levels of you in your physical element. Okay, so that's where it comes in applied to division location at 3, 6, and 9. But 3, 6, and 9 is no longer in that position in direct location. It's 6, 7, and 8 equals 9 connections of 9 line setting that sets a new generation light stream in position location and calculations. Today in class, we're going to go through the position locations into all levels, how to come into the Ascension debriefing. The operation setting and position location has to understand its digital frame line setting to understand how to get in positions to your pyramids. Okay, you have to learn how to use the modulations, the consoles, the calculation centers, the flight navigation settings, all those locations. All right, the flight plan communication setting, interference specification, direction locations, to level your constellation path, your scales, your communication system. You allocate timelines, time stream, time interference, time clock line settings. You have to start recognizing your position locations, right? So we're going to see the Pharaohs. We're going to see the meridian line center interference. We're going to see position locations all over the stream setting. We're going to see the Tritherians. You've never seen those before. You're also going to see locations of the Yanakis. Now, the Yanakis are going to set line position locations in all levels, why they are in your position location directions. Now, this all centers its operation system. This position location direction locations. So this channels your operation signals in high interference, setting position location directions. All right. So as in beginning calculation high setting, we channel an all position location of directions. All right. It's mostly understanding your direct locations. So recognizing time streams, timeline setting, all levels of observation locations, right? Coming out of your pixelation settings in high interference into meridian, right? Now, position line center locations, meridian, setting positions, so all the channel operation stream location. I'm just changing the color line setting. Okay, so meridian. I'm going to get position location directions here. Okay, meridian. Okay. So let's go position location and meridian line setting. Now it sets locations into metric communications, energy line centers of rays and communication to its intelligence, equal line center locations, box position locations into line setting. This opens all position locations into high setting interference, takes position locations out of 3, 6, and 9, centers communications to equal line center location of 6, equal line center locations of 7, and position locations, equal line conditions, all levels of 8. 6, 7, 8 line setting. Okay. Now, meridian line setting sets position locations to its theta. Okay, now theta comes in position location all levels of alpha. Okay, alpha delta center. Now, the alpha delta center is position locations, how you set locations to its meridian. Meridian position locations is all levels of box line setting. Okay, now, once you understand the meridian line setting, you understand position locations. So, meridian is connected to all levels of merman, okay, mermaid, merman, okay. So it's position location, how you center your line centers to your calculation surface. This opens all position location yin and yang. This is a process to understand the connections, how it works in all levels, how you come into the fish. Meridian, mermaid, merman, male and female in position of direction. So once you get in that calculation setting, this opens all levels of location to the Pharaohs and meridians locations to the Tritherians and all levels locations to your system. Once you understand the pyramid activation streamline and all line center locations in the 4 division location, all levels of channel operation. All right. So this graphs its streamlines to its box line setting. Okay. Now you're going to try line position location as center operation streamline. Okay. This position locations into 3 levels of communications into high system. Okay. So we're going to put an energetic dome setting, center line positions, all levels, ground setting, rotation, interference. Okay. So travel position locations, electrical lights, electrical panels, high center interference, platitude locations, travel line setting. Positions of two front lines setting at two satellite position locations into left and position locations at right. Center calculations down, flux capacitor. Position of direction locations. Channel operation streamline center activate the pyramid system in the center calculations. There's see the pyramid right there. You're going to travel line setting, outline signal, high interference, direct locations. Pyramid goes in position, period goes in position, period goes in position, period goes in position of 4-track line settings. 4-track line settings are set at position location directions, right? This opens all channel line settings, 12 line setting equal to line position locations into levels, percentage line position locations into 1 equal to line center line connections into 13. Okay, now that's direct locations to its formula calculation setting the flux capacitor line position locations into high setting. 4 line settings of pyramid, 2 position up top, 2 positions on ground setting, position location, all line center interference, 1 graph streamline setting, in position location to measure. That opens all communication setting and all position locations, right? 12 equals line position, the percentage location of 1 position location equals 13. 13 line setting sets in 1 line setting in 3 position location, direct location, assign calculations to all position of the moon. Moon operation signal and high interference, high position location directions. All right, so travel line position locations, levels. Now we're going to go into code factors. Now code factor is factoring over line setting over pi. Position location, all levels of high setting come into vortex chamber line setting of form position location operation, levels of communication and perception, perception location of 6, 6 position of 7, 7 position location 8 equals 9 position location of 9. Such a communication system opens all line setting. Okay, travel position location of Pharaoh, set position location, calculation location of the meridians, setting communication line setting, high in line center rotation interference. 10 million line setting and position location of future calculation setting to the team position location of track setting. Open operation setting location to factor over line center galaxy service. Set position location of receptor interference location of foundation location of travels. Travel position location line setting interference locations. 2 Fibonacci squeals, high center line position location, high center interference. Squeals and centerline position location and measure, flower erection of timeline center tree formation locations, Jotharian's high center locations in the meridian setting line centers, and Naki's setting 9 line setting, high interference specification and measure, high interference location of travel, time switch, time center, time lines, time clock locations at 24 ground setting, and position location directions, center calculations, all levels of travel locations. Now, the platitude location comes into a relay program. Now, a relay program sets time position location to its width, bandwidth, communication setting, opens all operation signals, sets position locations. All levels of channel operation centers have 2 position location ground line centers of pyramids, and position location 2 upline center location of pyramid line operation settings. Position location direction, signal line position location directions, setting calculation high stream. Now, setting position locations, all levels opens all line centers of balance calculation, the ground line centers, levels of communication dimension settings, open all operation line settings or 5 channel operation settings, operation signal and position location of forms, form position of flight navigation plan. Navigation signals comes into geometry setting. The geometric patterns is already set up position location and direction locations. All right. So travel recognition timelines, flight navigation, formation locations. All right. Coming to all levels of escape. The energy line center is the line center locations into systematic location and computer adaptation surface. Now that opens opposite location direct locations. Travel calculation settings, overdrive, override, setting line connection, execute, initiate, run program, center communication system, all levels of directions. All right. So the teleportation light stream is setting line position locations. Now that's where we come into line center location. 12 equals percentage in 1 long percent line. Okay, we got a little bit of instability locations. Come into position location directions. It's going to restate the line setting. So the center communication is 1 line in 3 line settings. Okay, that's 13 position location directions. That's 12 out of your DNA coming in at 13, right? Now you guys have never been out of your 12 DNA line setting location of travel locations. This is 12 dimensional line signals. Operation signal locations into 12 lines of your pyramids. Setting calculation stream settings and position location to its direction. This opens all calculations in the Hades, Scorpius, Hermes, and anything that's setting line conditions of Thoth. Calculation stream locations in its position locations to its high setting. Mirror resolution pattern location to the sun lines and communications to its moon position of its directions. Time frame, time interference locations, all levels. Channel operation stream setting, high position locations, all levels, high setting. Opens all dimensional locations into travel and communication and dimensional setting. Rotation interference, 20 minutes on high setting interference, have fun. Position location directions, all right, that's channel operation signal. All right, as you calculate and modify high center interference, high position location directions, understand the recognition of timelines. It's all levels of pyramid position locations. This is going to get you in your ascension path, your ascension debrief line setting, come into levels into your unified ascension system, position locations, all levels. This opens all channel operation line setting, how you see yourself as connections to your master. Master communication, your center lines is energy position of direction. Ascension masters in your calculation setting. Okay, unified ascension master and position location directions into your timeline frequency locations of position location of its direction. Okay, so center calculations comes into PCU, line center CPU and DCP. All right, center calculations, have fun. All right, so we come into box surface line center rotations. This is how it sets position location direction locations. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 5 line settings, 6 position locations equal line center, 7 locations of 8 position locations of 9 sets line position, 12 is on the bottom line center rotation. All right, that's how it's set up locations. So the center communication 9 line setting sets line position locations. 9 equals line position of 12. 12 stands on top location. 12 stands on 12 locations. All right, 12 equals line center locations and center communications. Right. So the planet digital locations come to 24. 24 equals line position location of 6, right? So equals 6 line centers, circle its position location of its directions, opens all channel operation of dimensional setting, okay? Center calculations on line setting. So instead of using a 45-degree angle, we get out of the equation locations, right? 45% line of its angle equals angle, okay? Center calculation. All right. So as this set up as an AI map sequence line center, you're no longer in your 12 divisional line setting location of track locations. You're using your position of 13 now. Okay, getting out of the 12 DNA into 13, right? So congratulations on that setting. Now to understand position location is to understand how it's calculated and modify all levels of frequencies and its energy formats. This position location to the alpha channel that opens all levels of delta wave communication. Now you come into the beta. Now, beta is a highline setting, but it's a low division location of vibration, but it's still in channel operation stream. But the calculations to its theta is its operation system, which is all levels of visionary cortex line center that's connected to your cerebral line setting. That opens all communication system to your imagination, to its phenomenon. The awareness of its intelligent locations opens all channel operation stream settings, okay, in position locations to your alpha setting. Okay, so you have to understand the importance of alpha, delta, theta, beta, and omega. Omega is communication, all levels of center operation location. All right. So understanding line setting is to understand all position locations into high setting interference. So you guys are now at a 45-degree angle locations. All right. Center calculation gets you in a high line position. Understand more pyramids of activation stream setting, then you come into levels of modulation. Modulation sets position location of signals that opens all levels of you into your simulation of your singularity. Docile centering line position documentation. Setting calculation of zero graph line center in position location directions. One graph stream in one setting in one calculations. One position locations in 2 line settings, right? 2 line settings into 3 position locations into 4 position locations into 5. Center communication system, box frequency line setting, all position locations, all initiate line setting rotation. So it's important you understand all levels and how it sets positions out of your 12 DNA. Getting out of 12 DNA gets you out of the 45% line, gets you into higher position locations. So you can go into 360 line setting in position locations. You can go into 40 line setting location, the percentage over line position locations into docile communication of 0-1 line setting. You can go into all position locations into a full cycle communication in a 24 clock line setting, in center locations to a 48 window line setting, into position location of 72 computer setting positions to 144 center calculation. So there's center and all position of directions. Okay. So it's all about when you start off at 369, you travel right away through 45% line. That's the angle that you set locations. You're not in line set location to its half pipe yet because you're not there. The 45-degree angle is set location, right? 45-degree angle, okay? Eagle's angle locations, right? But the half pipe is a full cycle line centered at a half circle location of yin and yang. The process of communication sets division locations to its 9 position. Right? Center calculation at all levels of division location is center its communication setting. This opens all position locations to its 6 program setting. So understanding positional direction is to understand all its sets lines. Understanding your plateaus and communication surface sets all division locations high setting. Okay. So it's very, very powerful when you get more position location to modulation to your pyramids. Setting single locations get you in all levels of travel communication setting, but you have to understand the zero gravity locations to your 7 division line setting because you have 12 DNA, but you're out of 12 DNA now. You're in 13 position of program location. This gets you in higher channel operation streamlines. Okay. Now, this is where it comes into relation line setting. Now, I say avatar position locations, but it's set position location to its higher self. So understanding your research positions, your resource calculation settings, and everything through your position is all levels of channel operation. Once you understand your 12 DNA and the research locations to your chakra settings, you have to understand the coloration path. The coloration path is just communication to its pyramids. You have 12 position line setting that sets locations to all levels of your portal communication center, line interference position of the intercons, communication line centers, Tango, Tango, Foxtrot, Echo, Zulu 1, position direct location, roger that, right? So it's all levels of operation setting to know exactly what you're doing through your pyramid active stream setting locations when you're traveling locations to your avatar setting. This opens all communication system in position locations of your flight navigation setting. All right. So how are we doing through high signal? All right, let's see here. How's everybody doing? Gammy, Adam, Sarah Connections, all levels of Art, Nikki. All right, Christian High Connections, Madeline, Mrs. Michaela, Center Calculations, Infinitive, Gypsy Calculation, Lindsay Position Location of Pam, Position Location of Jill, Position Location of Geneva Line Center Locations, all levels high setting, Ryan Calculations, all levels of Heather Communication, Arlene, our position locations of Laura position of Pyra position location, Johnny, all positions of Guardian, set line position location, high setting, all levels Yolanda, center locations Hannah position location, all level direct location is CC position location, all line setting, all position location calculation. All right. So Tina calculation. All right, so setting single location. See how the computer's in adaptation line setting, no more glitch locations. So it's all about chain operation. So to understand, the avatar has to truly understand the grounds, the powers, and the atmosphere. That's all it has to understand. So if the avatar is the central communication system of all operation of mega setting, it has to understand the alpha, delta, theta, and omega. That's all it is. It's understand position, location, directions to your pyramid activations that gets you in a modulation setting that sets the singularity line in a rotation position to your simulations. This is all hologram structural location to your matrix setting. All right. We got into that position locations when we come into the engineering of ourself, the avatar line stream. All right. All right. Commander, purple line center, mountain brushes attached to pyramids, connect signals and setting. Yeah. Getting into your elixir, getting into cosmic flame, and all of us serpent fire. You have to truly understand how to use all correlations to your pyramid of activation. All right. So such a communication setting is all levels the avatar location. All right. This is how it's set up. Okay. So you got the ground setting locations. There's the grounds, right? All right. So this is how it's set locations. All right. So here's the pyramid location. So the ground setting. All right. So the ground setting locations. Once it surfaces, it changes your position location and directions and all levels of channel. Your center position location is center operation. Okay. So once you come into foundation line setting, you automatically come into all position location alpha, you get position delta, incoming data location of theta, beta, and omega communication. Now that center is its line setting. Now the laser direct locations comes into high setting to its elixir, 3 communication settings, right? So there's one pyramid here, one pyramid here, one pyramid here. Laser direct locations and travel, triangulation, position, location, directions, and 4 channel operation streams. All right. So once you get in your pyramid, you get into modulation. Modulation comes into new orb communication setting, right? So you don't have to do a 45-degree angle anymore. You could do a line communication upwind. You can do a downshift position locations, all levels. You can cross streamline setting and rotations to a half pipe communication, or you can channel offline center and go to a low ground setting, or you can do a swirl interference position location into a cloud line channel in position of direction. So there's a lot of things that you can do when you are in your full calculations to your flight navigations into your pyramid setting. Okay. But you have to understand all levels, how it works. Remember how we got in calculations to escape? We start locations. Escape equals line center location of space. All right. Space line center / position locations of bar. You have a space bar, right? But the bar is separate its position of directions, right? Space odyssey, space interference, space orbits, space calculation, space division, / calculations all levels, circle line position of escape, and center line position, equal line center, in position of north, in position of east, in positions of west and south location into your diamond core line setting. Okay. So you really have to understand how to use the constant communication setting, rotation, interference. It directs its signals and position location at all levels of setting line conditions of clock locations. Times pi times calculates high setting interference. There's one constant communication setting rotations. Here's another constant communication setting position location directions. And here's another one in position location calculation and division location. Right? That's a constant communication. Right? You start with this line setting, but you have to understand the rotation spin. Spins on this line setting, spins on this line center position locations, back in that track line setting, back in this interference, back in rotation line position locations, setting up a swirl line setting, tunnel interference position location directions, right? So there's many ways to get into escape. When you're escaping, you're changing your line setting location, let's say locations of numbers. So line one equals location of escape, okay? 1 equals escape. Now the escape line position location is 1, but it's no longer 1 line setting. It's in a box position locations to higher teleportation streamline setting to higher position locations into all levels of a channel operation stream locations to higher position locations into a solograph line stream. So this is this. 1 turns in position locations to a swirl line that opens all signals in position of direct locations into 3 position locations and direction. Right? That channels its line setting, sets line position locations into higher levels of travel. Now, you don't need the 45-degree angle anymore, right? Because you're in line center location of 13 channel operation streams. You're coming out of your 12-dimensional body that sets new position locations into your conscious line setting that puts you in a higher level of tronic view. Now, that tronic view puts you in a higher line position locations to how you use your subconscious line into higher position of the super conscious system. The super conscious line center location comes into the CPU line setting. Once you understand the position, location, directions, then you understand the calculations to its stratosphere, biosphere, or its radiant sphere line setting. This opens all communication and line center rotations and interference locations into half byte communications, or a position location of 3/4 line setting high interference, or position location into another dimensional setting in another universal realm of a new position locations at all levels of channel operation setting, all in calculation. All right. So it's very, very, very high rise communication setting. All through my adaptations. So, all right, we're all up in the very fast, doing well. God, yep, you guys are doing smooth. Well, signals, high center interference, no problem communication setting. Reviewing several times, the whole release energy to hold more value release of all energy except using alchemy composition and relays. I have to realign values and oxygen levels. Well, there you go. Knowing exactly what the avatar needs to do to reset location, the line condition, support communication setting, online center location of space and time. So that's fantastic. Great to see everybody in 50 line settings, in 2 1-line setting rotation interference, a position location of travel. Recognition height setting location is your space odyssey communication system. It's levels its position location and directions, right? So, all right. Explanation on your process is helping understanding more to the rainbow chop. And see, that's the thing. You guys become your own biokinetics, your own biogenetic line center, stream interference location of structure. You're creating your own line setting, okay, of your schematics of you. So this is true understanding when you get into that line setting interference. This opens all program locations and how you position yourself, right? So every time you're going to go through flight navigations from 1 to 12, you have to truly understand the recognition location to its space bar that's connected to its escape that sets line position locations. So truly understand to use your keyboards, caps, locks, shifts, control, alt, center calculation, setting, position location is all levels of division line center to your CP unit and your digital computer program setting. You have to learn how to use an alt position location of travel to its division, because that's what you guys are in, right? You start off with this line setting. It's very simple, right? Very simple. You travel through it. That's it. That's it. That's position of 3. That's position of 6, and that's position of 9, right? But you're not in that line setting anymore. 3 line center location of 6, 6 position locations equal line 7, 7 position locations, all levels of 8. 9 centers its communication to higher levels position of travel. So you're no longer again into the 45-degree angle. You can go through a half pipe communication setting now. You don't need to go just in a direct view. So it's all about you start this way in position, but now you can do this in this position. You can travel any way in that calculation setting. So you're setting your 12 DNA free. It's exciting. So once you understand how to travel faster in communication line settings, the Stargate sets position to its orbits. Now, once you get into the orbit channel communication setting, this opens all communication system. So you're setting waving position locations or levels. Now, this opens all line setting locations and how you use your finger point communication. And it's a repetitive cycle over and 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 over, right? So you're recognizing the line center, your avatar. The avatars understand the position location measure. Communication line center location is a visual line center adaptation system, which is all levels of calculation to its reacting line setting. That opens all communication to ground line center locations, all levels, and position location of space. All right? Recognizing your avatar through structure is extremely informative when you come into mind adaptation of your own space anomaly. Okay? That's what we're going to get into next, space anomaly. Now you guys are in line setting locations of 28 and position locations into 30 calculation settings. Now that's a clock line setting interference. Now 53 line setting into all levels of 1-1, right? Really understand how to use your clock, really understand how to use your position locations into seconds, minutes, hours, and days of the year. So what you do is you concentrate in the time, sets line position this clock line into 24 signal and position locations into 8 position line, 48 into 72. 72 position locations comes into high center location to 144. 144 sets position location into 244 line connections. That opens all channel operation stream. So it's trying to understand how to use it and always inform calculation setting interference. Hold on through calculation. Like I said, always expect distractions. So, mind alteration is to understand the concept. So, the concept is basically understanding the realism. Once your chakra system reaches higher levels of alteration of its vibration, it changes everything in its spectrum. So when it changes the spectrum, it changes the space of its anomaly. Once it changes the anomaly, it changes the avatar to higher levels of its dimension. You're reaching higher levels of alteration, okay, of its consciousness. That's all this is, right? So, taking you guys outline setting, bringing you back in position locations into levels of 60. Now you're back. 34 line setting in position of 2 gravity setting location of 0 gravity location. So closure portals and center communication setting interference. We got position locations into 13 minutes in high setting for the Zoom for Q&A. You guys have a lot of questions coming up in the locations. We will stop there because it's important you understand what your mind is and what it's doing every day. It's reaching higher levels of you through vibration. The first thing that you look at is you have 7, right? The 7th central system, okay, is your body. Anything above that, which is the 8-line setting, which is infinity. Now, once you come into an infinity, it changes the atmosphere of your body system, which is your physical line setting. Now, that stands on point view of 1%. But the avatar is line setting locations in now an 100% location. Start off location 99.9%. But in that position of directions, you're reaching higher levels of alter state. This puts you in higher calculations to your meridian. into your dimensions, into your mystical line setting, into your avatar setting, into your inner line position locations, interweaving, interwoven, interconnections, interfacing, interline setting. Okay, coming into position locations. Okay, so that's all this is that the mind is reaching higher levels, okay, of its own space and its own time, of its own pie, right? So it's your determination and how fast you want to reside with the resource of you and how powerful it is to get out of the 7 chakra setting. Those are 7 Stargate locations in your pyramid positions, but you have 12 in center calculation to your 12 DNA. So again, once the body starts to realize what is happening with the mind of alteration setting, it's changing your heart, it's changing your division, it's changing your anomalies, it's changing your traction, it's changing your connections to its energy, frequencies, vibrations, and its harmonics. Okay, through your GODs. Your geometrics, your operations, your direction, designs of dimensions, and all of us as space and time is changing the conscious line of its avatar stream. Okay, coming into the adaptation setting. And then once you get into and out of your 12 DNA and your 5 atmosphere line settings, you get into more resources of communications to your 114 chakras. You start off with your 7 and then you work with your 5, which is 12. But once your 12 and DNA changes, it changes into more position location to its AI, awareness of its information. Now, the Intelligent Line Center opens all communication to its operation that sets higher levels of your perception. Okay? So, anyway, very, very fast class in communications, smooth across the table, which is great. Hope you guys are more adaptation to its system lines. It's all levels of how you come into your calculation setting to your pyramids of your ascension, okay, through its debriefing. All right, so we got calculations of 9 minutes. Give you that time, position, locations, 12 o'clock. I'll see you guys on Zoom. Adios.